The man who never left the house. On a quiet street in a small provincial town, there was a house that everyone knew but rarely talked about. It stood slightly apart from the others. Old paint, closed curtains, a gate that was always locked, even during the day. The man who lived there was named Adrian Velasco. He was in his early 40s, no wife, no children, no known visitors. To the neighbours he was just another quiet man who kept to himself, the kind you forget 5 minutes after seeing. But what made Adrian strange wasn't what he did, it was what he didn't do. He was never seen leaving at normal hours, yet every morning at exactly 8:10 a.m, a light inside the house would turn on. At 12 noon it would switch off for exactly 7 minutes, then turn back on again. At 6:45 p.m. it would go off completely, every single day, for years. At first, people assumed he worked night shifts or remotely. Maybe he had a routine no one understood. But one neighbour, an elderly woman who lived across the street, began to notice something unusual. She said she once saw Adrian outside, just once. It was around 2:30 in the afternoon. He was standing near his gate, holding a black trash bag. He looked normal, calm, like always. But what unsettled her was that he didn't seem to notice anything around him. Not her staring, not the passing tricycle, not even the dog barking right beside him. He just stood there for almost a full minute, then went back inside without throwing the trash away. After that, she started paying closer attention. And she noticed something that didn't make sense. There were days when Adrian's house showed movement inside, shadows passing behind curtains, but no doors ever opened. No footsteps on the street, no sound of anyone coming or going, yet the routine continued. Light on, light off, silence, repeat. Then came the night everything changed. A strong typhoon hit the area. Power lines went down. The entire street went dark. Except for one house. Adrian's house still had light. Dim yellow, steady. That alone made the neighbours uneasy. Around 11:40 p.m, the elderly neighbour looked out her window. She said she saw Adrian standing in his yard, in the rain, completely still, not moving, not blinking, just facing the house. And then something worse happened. She said she saw another light inside the house flicker on, even though Adrian was outside. At first she thought it was a reflection, but then she saw it clearly, a shadow inside, walking exactly like him. The next morning people called the barangay. When officials arrived, the house was locked. No response, no movement. They forced the door open. Inside everything was perfectly arranged, too perfectly. No dust, no clutter, no signs of normal living, just a single chair in the centre of the living room. And on the wall, dozens of paper schedules taped neatly in rows, each one identical, each one repeating the same line: do not stop the routine. There was no kitchen food, no personal belongings, no bed that looked slept in, only a small room at the back of the house that had been sealed shut with nails from the inside. When they opened it, they found nothing. Just a mirror, covered completely with paper, and written on every sheet was the same sentence, repeated hundreds of times: I am not alone here. Adrian Velasco was never found. No record of him leaving town existed. No CCTV showed him walking out. No neighbour could agree on when they last saw him clearly. It was as if the house had been running itself, or as if Adrian had never been the only one living there to begin with. To this day, the house still stands. Locals say that sometimes late at night the light inside turns on for exactly 7 minutes at noon, like it remembers a schedule no one is keeping anymore. And if you stand too long outside the gate, you might notice a shadow behind the curtains, standing perfectly still, waiting